Her car stopped like right in front of, it went from behind us to in front of us and stopped.
And then what do you see?
I just see her car on fire and the smoke everywhere.
Testimony from witnesses in the case against Roger Burdette. We heard from people on the interstate back on Christmas Eve of 2018 who watched an MSD truck ram into the back of Detective Deidre Mengedoht's cruiser, killing her. Prosecutors say Burdette was on opioids at the time of the accident. Heather Fontaine joins us from the Judicial Center with what expert witnesses had to say.
We know that toxicology reports indicated that hydrocodone, which is an opioid, was in Roger Burdette's system at the time of the crash. But was he impaired while behind the wheel of that MSD tanker truck? Well, that's what the jury will have to decide.
Would an individual with hydrocodone in their blood at the level of 25 nanograms per milliliter within the 3 margin of error, would they be under the influence of hydrocodone with that level?
Yes, ma'am. And when a doctor says under the influence, I have no idea what that means in a legal context. I'm just saying it's having an effect on the brain.
Toxicology expert Dr. James Davis was first on the stand this morning, explaining the effects hydrocodone and clonazepam might have on a person.
What about fine motor skills, the ability to steer and properly control a vehicle?
Yes, all of that is going to be damped down to some degree.
Is it your opinion that the defendant at these levels would be under the influence of hydrocodone and 7-aminoclonazepam?
Yes, ma'am.
But during the defense's cross-examination,
you also can't tell this jury that Mr. Burdette was impaired on that day, right?
No, ma'am. Again, that's for the jury to decide.
You won't say what caused this accident that occurred?
That's correct. I do not know.
During Tuesday's testimony, the prosecution presented medical documents showing Burdette had taken hydrocodone on December 24, 2018, the day of the deadly wreck. Dr. Davis testified the clonazepam, however, was probably not taken that day.
Because there's only 7-aminoclonazepam and not clonazepam, I can say with medical certainty that the drug was taken about a day or so before and none since then.
Jurors also were able to leave the courtroom today and walk outside as a group to Liberty Street to see all of the vehicles involved in that Christmas Eve wreck with their own eyes. We'll have that video coming up at 5 o'clock. In Louisville, I'm Heather Fontaine for WHAS 11 on your side.
The only officer charged in connection to the Breonna Taylor case had a pretrial hearing today. Brett Hankison is charged with wanton endangerment for bullets fired into a neighboring apartment. Today, attorneys submitted a request to take jurors back to the scene during the trial. The judge is considering that request. Hankison's next hearing was scheduled for December 10th. The judge says he hopes the next one will be in person.